us, that we can give ourselves the same patience that we give other people, Lord. Thank you for giving us this place. I pray that your presence can fill this space with so much peace, and that in our souls right now we can just gain a new level of confidence and hope and trust in you, that we can do this and we can speak the words that you do.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Hi.
I'm Savannah.
I'm Laurel.
I'm Bella.
And this is
GODWINKS
podcast.
Week
Episode-
2.
Week 2, episode 2.
Yes.
Yeah. You got it.
Okay. So this week, I guess I should say that we've gotten a lot of DMs from some people, and I kind of just picked some that would kind of relate to one another. So we are going to go over self-worth. Thank you, lady. What is it? Gracias.
Yes.
She'll love that. And comparison and how social media affects mental health. Thank you, Coco.
Yes.
And so I think we have a lot to say about it.
And stay tuned till the end, because we're going to do
Announce the winner.
little announcement. And thank you everyone who listened to last week's and supported us. It really
Yes.
does mean so much to us, and just all the kind comments that we've gotten. And even if there's only 2 listeners on this, like,
We love that.
it means a lot to us.
Mhm.
Like,
Really does.
just getting
And these
to
will
do
progressively get better.
Yes, we've
Like
already
lighting.
figured
We
out
got
some
more
stuff,
lighting, you
and
know.
we're gonna
Eventually take this
We got some.
down. Don't worry, we know this
Um,
isn't
What's the word?
the most what
Redoing.
Yeah.
We got some.
a lot of progressing.
Yeah.
we're trying to
Progressive.
make
Mhm.
things
Yes.
more professional. I'm
Right.
sorry, I just know I clicked my pens a couple times. So you're gonna hear that in the microphone. So
It's okay.
we'll jump into the episode then.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Bella, I think you should start us.
Oh.
Okay.
Bella, go first. You got it.
So to jump in with, I guess, comparison, I like something when we were discussing it that we talked about, like what angles and everything we were each gonna be going with was like, I always knew that, of course, everyone in our generation kind of like struggles with comparison. And then I listened to Auburn Community Church on YouTube a lot, or sometimes. I used to way more in Athens, and Miles Fidel is the pastor there. And in January, he challenged like the church to fast for 21 days in January. And he was like just explaining what fasting was. And I never really knew what to do, like, or what even that concept was. And he was saying how just it's something that, like, takes away from your relationship with God in a way is what you should be fasting. And of course, like most people in this generation or in life nowadays, social media is a big one that we all like occupy our time with. So I deleted all the social medias off my phone for 21 days. And like I was talking to my friends throughout it and just realized so much of my like comparison with myself comes through social media, and even just seeing like what other people are doing in their free time or what I think that they're doing based off of like what they're showing. And throughout that time I like had heard one of Sadie's sermons, and she talked about like, if someone doesn't know the worst thing I'm going through, how can I expect to compare their best to my worst? Because of course I know everything, like the good, the bad, and everything about myself. But on social media, we're just seeing what they're choosing to put out there.
Yeah, like
so,
what they think is good.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
it's an inaccurate like comparison to begin with. And like Lauren Daigle had said, I believe, it was like comparison steals your creativity. And even during those 21 days, like I just realized so much of this stuff I enjoy doing in my free time. Like I like to paint, I like to color, I enjoy reading a lot. Like
Painting?
Yeah.
If you can quote that, you get the next, what's it called? If you
Giveaway?
know, yeah.
Weekly.
Monthly.
Yeah, but I just realized like it really does take away so much creativity. And even like just being alone by yourself, it's like immediately you go to your phone, but it's like, no, you can enjoy just your downtime. And like you don't have to compare the highlights of someone else's life to like your little moments. And that's just kind of what I learned through my fasting journey with social media. And
Yeah.
it helped me a lot with comparison. Of course, I still struggle with it, and like anyone does, it's a battle, but it's also like taught me a lot about myself, that like how can I even compare with other people when I don't know them, but I know all of me. And also with social media, it made me just really stop posting things that like I just felt like were almost for approval, that I didn't even realize it was that way. Like if I thought I looked good in that picture, I should post it, or this or that. But it's like social media can be good and bad, and how we use it is
All
what
of it's
determines
fake.
how it is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So like even if you post a pic, or like, sorry, I said that wrong. Even if you like were to see like a picture and you're like, oh my gosh, whatever, you know, not even like appearance wise, but like also like life wise, like you're like, God's not giving me a husband, or God's not giving me like this opportunity, but he's giving them that.
Yeah.
It's like a whole bunch of like, I feel like ways that the devil uses to break up, like, oh, God's giving them that, but not me.
Yeah, he
You
like
know?
makes you
Completely.
get confused on like what God's actually doing in your life that you're not seeing because you're looking at somebody
Right.
else's that you don't
Yeah.
have.
Like you're not even
Babe.
taking action for
Yeah.
like your
That
own
was
stuff because you're so
good.
preoccupied. You know?
Yeah.
It's trying to
That's so
confuse
true.
your mind and stuff.
And it causes a lot of mental health issues,
Mhm.
like
Immediately.
anxiety and like
Yeah.
depression. And yeah, basically what I said
Yeah.
last week in the podcast that we had posted, like if he can't bring you back, then he's gonna make you miserable and where you're at, because
Yeah.
Yes.
God has you in this place for a reason, and like we're all living in an answered prayer right now, and we need to like realize that,
Exactly.
but yeah, which kind of leads to self-worth as well. All of it relates actually, but like I don't know, I just feel like it's such a heavy topic because it's such a cruel world right now that we do live in, and it's like a lot of people are just trying to be accepted for who they're not, and it's like a bunch of scared people that are just like, I don't know. And I feel like a lot of people think that they're by themselves in that as well. And like even like being a Christian this hardcore, I mean, I'm not like a freaking nut, but like, like following God the way that I am, it's still hard to like, because I'll have the people of the world like talking about me, and it's like the world gets loud. You know what I mean? So like it's hard because we can't verbally hear God's voice really at all. I mean, I guess he used to a lot in the Bible. Yeah, but I have never. So that's what was it that I had said last week, or it was like in the TikTok that I had showed you. It was like what you put your what is it?
What you're listening to.
Yeah, it's what you put your faith in. That's what
and
it was.
this like is the same thing today at church. They actually said it like what. It's a Dallas Willard quote. What you pay attention to and focus on becomes your reality. And if like only what you're hearing is that, then exactly. And this was also just like a random neat fact, like went with that, like in social media and mental health. Like he was talking about just different things in our free time too. And he had mentioned Live No Lies, which Jameson told us to read, by John Mark Comer. And he was saying how, so many people, like, when they hear, you should read this book or whatever, they're like, oh, well, I don't like to read. And it's like, but literally we spend so many hours on our phones, like on social media, and that is reading, even if it's like a different level of
Captions
reading.
and stuff.
Yeah,
and
and
TikToks.
TikToks.
And you go
Yes.
into the comment section.
And it's like proven. Yes, it's proven that when you're reading on your phone, it increases your heart rate and causes anxiety. But when even if you're reading like a regular book on your phone, like, because I have different reading book things on my phone because sometimes it's just easier, but I also don't focus as well if I'm like alone, my phone's away, and I'm just reading a book, like flipping through the pages. That's proven to slow your heart rate and calm you down. And it's just crazy because like I would have never even known that, but it makes sense, like feeling that, but it's like if all we're doing is on our phones, we're feeding our anxiety, we're feeding it with what we see already on social media, and like even the action of just scrolling. Like it's crazy.
It's crazy.
And it's like we all sit and we're like, oh, we have all these different health things or mental health issues, and it's like because
you're not
we're
helping
feeding
it
through it.
You're not helping any of your struggles by like literally filling it up. You know what I mean? So
when you were just talking about like how our generation is too, about like, do these people accept me and everything too, like it just reminded me that like, or just made me think of this, like we feel like we're going to be more accepted for being more accepting of everyone, but it's actually like the more accepting we are and like the less boundaries we set for ourselves, the less accepted we feel. And it's like just the opposite.
Just like the top of my paper, I had read, well, Savannah actually said something similar to it, so you can also mention that as well. And then it reminded me of what I had written right as like quarantine hit. So I was reading through what I had written because I remember it was something very similar to what she had said. So it says, I have realized that to be happy, you do not have to be the prettiest or coolest person in the room. I don't need to try and fit into somebody else's lifestyle and not my own just to be accepted. And honestly, just by being accepted by people that don't even like know my last name or my middle name or like, you know me. Like I'm trying to like sit there, and that leads to social media as well. Like it's like we're all trying to like impress each other, you know, because we're all, and it's not out of like it's not like we're out like doing it intentionally. It's out of insecurity.
And like we're trained to from this point, like from the youngest age, we've always posted like the highlights of our life on social media.
That's what I was gonna say. Like that's like all people post though. Like there's stuff people don't show everybody. There's stuff I don't show everybody. There's stuff we all like.
And even like I feel like we all try to use it more vulnerable, but like still I know there's stuff like we've even talked about like with ourselves, like it's not out there. And that's like what the purpose of this is too, is to like be more vulnerable than we even like have been before.
Like there's not a lot of people that can do that, you know, so
and like we choose how we use it. Like Sadie, I remember had talked about that, like social media can be used as a negative thing, but like it's our choice, and like if we're gonna use it negatively or positively.
Definitely.
Like we're only seeing other people's like lives through pictures, and like literally only what they're showing us.
And then we're comparing what we know, everything about ourselves, the good, the bad,
to their picture they post on Instagram.
Of their life.
Right.
And like I had wrote down like whenever, like it's hard to like understand that whenever you compare yourself to other people, like you want to be like the prettiest person in the room and all that stuff, but like
noticed.
But whenever you like walk in a room, you don't base people like off of what they look like, how skinny they are, or stuff like that, you know. And like I like finally
some people definitely do.
But
like
but are those people you even want to be close to?
That's what I'm saying. You mean like us? Okay, like people that
and like you don't do that to other people, so like why do that to yourself?
Oh, like you don't sit there and like criticize every little thing about them.
Like if they have acne, you're not gonna be like, oh, they have acne, you know. Like
my face all the time.
Like, and
it's fine.
And other people don't do that to you, like in the way that you think. You know all your flaws because you sit in the mirror and you like stare at those. Like,
And I know from experience, like using like apps to make yourself skinnier and like stuff to like cover up or to smooth something, it's just like, girl, that ain't even you. And like
when you do meet the people in person,
I know I'm not gonna ever say who said this. I mean, if they're listening, I'm sure that they'll know, but somebody said to me, because I was saying that to them, I was like, hey, that's not you, you know. And she said, well, if I don't like something about myself, I'm obviously going to change it before people see it. And I was like, girl,
you don't even love you at that point.
That's not who you are. And you should be proud of who you are. Because God made you.
Fearfully and wonderfully made. And knit you together.
Yes, and God said when he made us, what did he say, Bella?
You are very good. That creation is very good.
Like he said, oceans, that's good. Whatever, that's good. But we are very good.
And it's like if we believe that all those other things are good, but then believe that the thing he said is very good, we're like,
we need to focus. That's our problem though. We focus on what everybody else around us is saying because it's so loud that we believe it, and then we see ourselves and we're like, ew.
But then it literally taints the lens of how we see anything else in the whole world.
But we're listening to the wrong voice the entire time.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, it's like,
so hold on, I think there was keep going though.
Like it was in Sadie's one of her videos, and it was on her YouTube. It was like a sermon series, and she was talking about like how creation and all of that is made, and you're good, and like we don't compare ourselves. And I know y'all have probably seen this on social media. It was like a big thing going around, like if the sunset is pretty and flowers are pretty, like,
and they're two different things.
Then how do you compare them? But like that's what we do constantly. Like literally, comparison in general is just that. Like Sadie, word for word, so I'm quoting her. It was just funny. She said like, now I wouldn't look at the ocean and be like, oh, the ocean is so deep. Like I just want to be as deep as the ocean, or like that giraffe has like the longest legs. Like why don't I have long legs like that giraffe? Because it sounds like, okay, well, like, because you
you're not a
don't, like,
giraffe.
because that's a different part of creation. But it's like,
Ownership.
we're each our own different creations too, that like God has taken time and effort to like
Yeah.
make. So it should be just as weird to say that as it is to compare ourselves to each other,
Yeah.
because we all are made differently.
Yeah,
Yes.
and God made us in His perfect image. Each
Yes.
and every one of us.
And if
Yeah.
we don't believe that, then how do we believe everything else that
Yeah.
He said to us, when that's the basis of who we even are?
Yeah.
But also, what I was gonna say, what I just
Yeah.
saw, it was so good. Like, literally, it was actually back to the first podcast when me and Savannah were talking in my room. I said this as I was realizing as I, oh my gosh, I can't talk. Realizing it as I said it.
Holy Spirit speaking through.
Yeah. Basically, like, all this comparison and self-worth and everything, and others putting others down and all kinds of stuff. It's like Satan using other people without them even knowing to put everybody else down. But the only reason the person doesn't even know that that's what happened.
Yeah.
The person is just saying that because whether they know it or not, something internal with them isn't right. And like, they're insecure about something.
Yeah.
And like something else could be. And that's why so many people question God too.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, oh, how could this happen? How could, like Billy Graham said, like, how could world hunger happen? How could all this stuff happen? How can we compare ourselves to one another? It's like wars and everything. But it's like the Bible literally tells us what not to do, and we do it, and then we blame God for the outcome.
That was good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Today
But that's
at church, they
true.
were
That is
literally
true.
talking about that.
Yeah.
Like, he said, like, how we say, like, the enemy came to steal, kill, and destroy. And, like, with Adam and Eve and everyone, like, he didn't, this is what he said. And I was like, dang, that is so crazy. The serpent didn't come in and go to slash Adam and Eve's neck. He went to
No.
win their mind.
Yeah.
Because if he
Yes.
can win our mind, then he has, like...
Which he's done to
Yes.
all of us.
And that's, like, I was, like, that sounds
it's a
so
trick.
simple, but it's,
Yeah.
like... He could have just as easily killed them in that moment, but he didn't. He wants to put a little bit doubt. The first thing he did was question God. Did God really say that you couldn't eat that fruit? Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's
it's like what
we
happens
do.
in our head, though. It's like,
is that really the fine
'cause you
line
know
of
he's
what
gonna
is
forgive
good or
you.
isn't good? Yeah.
and you know, like, tomorrow's a new day, and he gives you a second whatever, and da-da-da-da-da.
Yes.
But then it's like, even if you do it, yeah, God will forgive you. But you
Yeah.
can't take advantage of the free will that God's given us if you want, you know what I mean? Like, because God only is saying, hey, you might not want to do that this time, because he knows it will hurt you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Like-
looking out for like your best interest.
Just like a good father or like a good parent in general. Like, our parents give us rules or give us whatever
To
because...
protect us.
Yes, and
Not
like-
because they hate us and they don't
yeah.
want us to have fun.
Exactly. Just
Yeah.
like if they said this at church today too. Sorry, I'm just like so many things, but that's how it works. Is like God puts people and puts these things and like your quiet times with Him and all of that to come together to reach these moments.
Yeah.
You know, so it is like a big collection of all these different things. But it's like even having lines on the road that like we drive on. Say like, oh, we have freedom. Like complete freedom would be like, okay, no lines, no speed limits, whatever. And we think in this world, like our whole culture, the more freedom we gain, the freer we are. But it's like,
But that's
no, because
also-
imagine if we just, sorry,
no, keep going. I interrupted you. Keep going.
but like imagine if we had full freedom, which is how our like world is going now. We're gonna run into each other. We're gonna hit each other going 90 miles an hour because there's no boundary set. So real freedom exists inside of real boundary too. Because if we all had full freedom, we'd be stepping on each other's feet because we're not even looking out for each other.
Right.
And I was like,
And that's kind
yeah.
of where Satan comes in as well,
Yes,
because
exactly.
he likes his biggest thing, and what we've all experienced in our like college and high school and relationships and everything else before we came to Christ. He loves to be hidden. Like, that's his biggest thing ever, is like he doesn't even want you to know that that's what he's
disguises
doing.
himself.
He literally disguises himself as people or like whatever or like
even God,
and
like,
yeah,
he tries.
yeah, and that's just his biggest thing. He likes to be hidden, and he doesn't like you to know that that's him.
And he'll use
And I
people
didn't
in
know
your
that was
life.
him.
Yeah.
But it's like, once you get so fed up, it's like, if you would just, and that's what's wrong with today's world. Like, it's like here in America, and I'm sorry if this politically upsets anybody, it's like we're looking for something to be upset about, and we do have a lot to be upset about. But like, we're so grateful to actually wake up here and not be bombed
Yeah,
every
like,
day.
Be able to have an
and
opinion.
yeah.
On that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you get a lot of crap for some of it from people and stuff. But I mean, it's just like we should be grateful for the things that we do have. What are you doing?
I'm just pulling up something that
read
goes
it.
with that. Like it goes like off of that, like.
But that's Satan's tactic, though.
Yeah.
Kill, steal, and destroy, and that's what he's doing in today's world. Which we're kind of going off topic of self-worth, but it's okay.
No, yeah, but that's what creates self-worth. Like what our lens of anything goes through that, and like
of ourselves.
Yeah, and like it's you do you, me.
I was gonna go
all
off
of
this, yeah.
And it's like, where in that are we looking out for each other at all?
Yeah, just like that sermon said that
Yes.
I saw, that he was like, that love, like that the world wants you to whatever is like not demeaning, but like not a, what's the word, condemning, like kind of, I don't know what the word would be, but it's like not tough love. That's a good one. Yeah, like, you know, like we have to set each other straight, and that's what they don't want.
What, like
even
they
want to
real
be
friendship,
whatever.
like you have to like have like just like with your parents, like your parents set all that stuff just like God sets with us, like which we were just talking about with someone else too. Like, why would God create all of these things? God didn't create all of that. He gave us free will. He gave us life. He doesn't want to force us into loving him, just like he can't force us to love ourselves. We're making the decision to not listen to what he says about us. Like how you were into you had said something a minute ago that made me think of it, and I like forgot, because with the social media stuff, like I had given that up for fasting, and then when Lent came around, I ended up giving up makeup, and it was like the challenge for myself was like I want to see myself as God sees me, and like on the really tough days where like I could use something else, or like Bella Robertson had like talked about this, and like she kind of like put the idea in my head of makeup, and it's like some days you just want it to like give you whatever when you don't feel that great, but that's when like you have to lean even more into God and like who you create, or he created you to be, and like that helped my confidence in a whole different way. And like I am wearing makeup right now, not like, oh, I'm never gonna wear makeup again, but it's like I constantly had been, and I didn't even wear makeup a lot before then, but it was just like a whole level of like really defining like where my beauty comes from. Like, is it in my outer looks? On my days when I don't feel pretty at all, like how do I love myself? And it's like, if that's the issue, is I don't love myself for how I look or whatever, or I love myself for how I look, then I don't even have real self-worth or self-confidence, because we're a soul gifted a body, not a body gifted a soul. And like that quote stuck with me so much, because that is the truth. And it's like, this is our temple. It's like we should honor it. We shouldn't be covering it up, changing it. Like, you know how you said, like that's not even loving ourselves in that way, or building our self-confidence, because if we believe that there's something wrong with us constantly, where are we learning to love ourselves? Oh, you love how you want to look. You love what you could be.
And then like, even if we don't feel confident and then we like finally get a good pic that we're like, oh, finally I'll post it. It's like we're just like waiting on like the people in the comments to tell us we're pretty, so just for like a second, like we can believe it about ourselves. Like, and it's not like
instant gratification.
And if you listen every single day to what God is telling you, you will be noticed as you want to be. You will be told that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and that you are smart, you are this, you are that, and that's told to us every single day if you would just open your Bible and read what he has to say to you.
Remind ourselves of it. Like
the way you talk to yourself too affects you.
Like those days I woke up, my mirrors were covered in words, and they still are, because like some days I have horrible acne. Like I have stuff that like makes my acne be bad. So like it was not fun waking up some days and seeing how I looked. But like it really, really made me be like, okay, like no, I'm not gonna stand here and make the beginning of my day be ruined over something that like God's made me this way. And like he's gonna build my confidence more through this than me never struggling with myself at all. If I just always believed that I'm perfect, then like there would be no honest level of confidence, because like being confident is not in who we are, but like who God's called us to be above what we believe. You know, it just taught me a lot. And like
I think you had something good that you had told us earlier that you were gonna say.
Yes.
About what you had to say.
Oh, about the self-worth stuff.
Yeah, like how, because like we all still struggle with it, you know, and how you kind of what you said was good.
Yeah, so. I'm definitely still working on building my self-worth, and one thing I know that I did, like, to help it, I stopped talking to the people that, like, the way their actions did, like, affected me in, like, a bad way, to where I, like, mentally didn't, like, have self-worth based on, you know what I mean?
What others were saying to you.
Yeah.
Because the world is loud.
Yeah, even if, like, they didn't say things in, like, a rude way, I, like, you know, like, I just took it like that.
It's like, is it pulling you closer to who you're supposed to be or farther from what God wants you to be?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, everyone either is going to pull you or drag you.
Yeah, definitely.
And just like that video we just watched, and I literally will, I don't know, somehow post this
Link
on our
it
Instagram.
somewhere. Yeah.
But this is the best video I've ever seen. I mean, one of them. It was just Mike Todd, and it was just like, it helped, I think, all of us because of, like, old friendships and stuff. Like, he said in the video, like, oh, well, like, no one knows us like that, and, like,
Our jokes,
no one knows our
man.
jokes like that, and we'll do it having fun, and we had such a good time. And but then it's like, he said, like, you might have to give up jokes because those people aren't gonna go and fight in the trenches with you. Like, you have to have your strong circle of faith, and that's what also leads to some, like, self-confidence. There is the people in your life, like, that drag you back. Like, it's like you have one foot in, like, but it's like then you have one foot out because these people, you know, like, it's like you almost don't want to, like, let go. And I know that I had struggled with, like, letting some people go.
And that's spiritual warfare.
But it's like when you finally let go, and I'm not saying I don't have things that I still, like, you know,
Daily
go
surrender,
through,
though.
but it's like once you let go, it's like if you don't let go, it's like you're never gonna see what God has on the other side of I can't talk of what He has on the other side of that.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
It's like big teddy bear, little teddy bear
It is.
type stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, but yeah, I think it's important that we listen to the right voice. Like I said in the last podcast, it's devil and angel on your shoulder. It's nuts how much, like, when you start to follow God, how much, like, people are gonna be like, girl, what are you on?
But then it's also like you look at the world and you're like,
and I'm
whoa,
like, girl, what's going on? Yeah, what was I on?
Yeah.
Because, like, how insecure I would talk so bad about people. I literally have been in bars before, gone up to my ex-boyfriend, slapped him across the face for dancing with another girl, and then chose to stay with him.
Yeah.
And just other stuff.
And then we go
won't
home
get
and
into.
do what? We get mad at whoever, but
The
then we
girl.
go home and cry.
We get mad at the girl too.
I'm like, no.
I'm like,
so
I'll go
happy.
back because it's comfortable.
And then we're
that's,
all by ourselves.
That's the
crying.
word.
Yeah.
It's not comfortable. That's what it is.
You gotta.
You have to be uncomfortable.
Yes, to gain a new level of confidence.
Because God's gonna show you what He can do outside your comfort zone.
Yes. Mic dropped.
Yeah, but for real.
Yes.
Like, I've just seen stuff and I've done stuff, and it's just like, I look back at it now, and I just know in that moment how I mean, I didn't in the moment, but now looking back at it, I know I just felt so insecure and just like, I don't know. It was rough out there, boys and girls. It's rough out there.
It is.
And, like, if you think that you're too far gone from something like that because of things you've done, or if you, whatever, like, I'll be completely vulnerable. Like, if you've had sex before marriage, or if you've done drugs, or if you've drank and you've been to a bar, you went to a bar last night, you freaking snorted cocaine last night, you smoked weed last night, whatever, or today, you could still, it doesn't matter. Just like the prodigal son, whatever the heck.
Prodigal son.
Yeah, I can't say that word. But yeah, that story is amazing. And, like, no matter how far gone we think we are, God is running towards us because He knows that we're in need and He will help us. And that's what the whole point is of Him dying on the cross for us is. So,
Whatever has been lost can be found in the cross.
Literally.
again,
Yes.
yeah.
And, like, we just hope that this really can speak into anyone who needed to hear this, because the only reason we can say any of these things is because someone spoke and believed and prayed on our behalf too. And, like,
Yeah.
the Lord has met us in our broken pieces, and, like, still will.
show.
Like, we all have rough moments, and, like, we just want to share ours with you so that, like, we can be one big family and, like, speak into each other in that way. And, like, if you want to message us or anything, we're here so you can pray
So you can pray for us.
So we can pray for you.
Yeah.
And we'll pray with you, or anything that you need, or even if you just need a friend to vent and encourage you, like, that's what we are for each other, like, our strong circle of faith. And we want
That's
to be
the
able
point
to
of
be
this
that for
podcast,
you.
so we can be that for you.
Exactly.
So.
And just, like, thank you for taking the time to listen to this too.
Yes,
Like,
thank
we hope
you.
we're
Should
really
we?
spoken.
Should we announce?
Yes.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I am Savannah. Since we let Savannah pick the first one out of our bucket.
Yeah.
So
The winner is.
Trinity Woodall.
Woo! Texas gal.
And I believe that you'll be in
Here
Georgia
soon,
or if
this
not,
month, or I guess
GM
tomorrow.
us.
No, I think she will. She texted me.
Okay.
And she said that she whenever. So we shall see you
Alrighty.
soon,
Yes.
girl.
Thank you so
So yeah,
much.
thank you guys so much.
Yes,
we will
thank
be
you.
praying over this podcast for
We will.
anything that you guys haven't said that you're
Mhm.
afraid to say that we will say for you. So
And please
yes.
message us and just let us know what any other topics, sorry, that you'd like to hear about. And just we're here for you and we love you and we're so
Yes.
glad that we get to even do this.
bye.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
Hi!
I'm Savannah.
I'm Laurel.
And this is the Godwinks
It's the
podcast.
Godwinks podcast.
Episode.
I think this would just be the short over intro.
Winner is.
Oh wait, are we not starting over?
I'm joking.
I'm
I'm like, I'm really gonna do this.
I don't know. I never know with you, Bella.
Alright, message us and just let us know what any other topics, sorry, that you'd like to hear about.
Okay, trick or treaters start coming around 6, so we need to go. Alright, ready?
Yeah, my hair will be like this.
Okay, cool. Whatever you want. We let Savannah pick the first one out of our bucket.
Yeah.
So
The winner is.
Trinity Woodall.